Okay, so today I decided to get on here and show a demonstration of how to use the Morby Calculator. I've had several people that have reached out and asked if I would give a demonstration. Because the last time, the other one, I was just kind of like, this is blah, 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 and there it is. I didn't really give a demonstration of how to use it, assuming that everybody knows how to use these. So, anyways, um, yeah, sometimes I don't think about stuff like that. But so, anyways, this property that been working on with a client, putting an offer in. Um, Actually, we already put the offer in. She's just waiting on the proof of funds and the pre-approval letter, and then we're waiting. Hopefully, he will get in a his offer will be accepted today or tomorrow. We'll find out. But anyways, it's a short-term rental, a 3-unit short-term rental for 2 million, 2.1. We offered 1,815, and then there is no agent fee and there is no wholesaler fee, which will be right here. Um, Before I go any further, I do want to say that anything in the blue number box area is where you will want to put your information. The black boxes, the the cells with the black numbers in it, you will see already has a formula in there, and it will calculate it automatically for you. So you don't have to worry about those um, cells. And if you mess it up, I would say just go back and just click the back button. Um, and if that doesn't work, you can always just exit out of it and say don't save, right? Or if you totally mess it up, then just reach back out to me and say, hey, Ray, can I have another copy? Yeah, no problem. Renovations, there are no renovations. There is a balance on the first loan, which I always tell everybody it's best to get these free and clear. However, um, doesn't mean it won't work. It just has to be enough. There just has to be a lot of equity in it for the seller to be okay with it. Unless they're in a jam and they just need to get out from underneath of it, I guess. That's a possibility too. So, anyways, the first balance was 510. The second loan is 45,000. The insurance, which you will have to pay upfront, 1 year insurance, is 8,900. The inspection fee, I just put an average number in there of 750. Appraisal fee 500. This could change depending on the area and the inspector and appraiser that you get. So I just put a generic number in there, and yeah, you can change that. No big deal. Okay, and then down here in this total out of pocket is what the buyer will be bringing um, for this deal, which is includes the 8,900. So yeah, if you want to see what the sell is calculating, just click on it, and you can see that it's 1 year insurance, the inspection fee and the appraisal fee and the EMD, and because he's using our tier two, he's going to pay the $1,400 up front for our TCs, and then the the remaining of the fee, the 2,600, will be paid on the back end. So if you look here, you'll see B19, which is basically right. Is that right? B19. Do I see B20? I don't see B20 in there. Oh yeah, right there. I could have added it later. Okay. So B19, B17. So all these numbers are in there, right? Okay. So let's click that. So that's what he has to bring. Now, if we scroll down to the mortgage calculator, and all of these are little calculators that come together and do a great job, unless I mess it up. So this mortgage calculator, I have it set for 20%, and there's a lot of drop down boxes you'll see on here. And I may even add a couple others for, I'd like to add one over here for the CapEx. And I'll explain that when I get over there. But So right now, if you get a lender and they say, well, we'll lend to you, but we're only going to give you 70%, then you'll have to have 30%. You can go in there and change that. However, your numbers may not work, or they may. It just depends. So right now I'm leaving it at 20%. And then over here, so you'll see that the 20% is 363,000. The loan amount, actually, you know what? I'm missing something. It needs to be this too. So the loan amount is going to be 1,400,000 because we put this $18,000 down. I didn't subtract that, so that's a good catch. So it seems like every time I go through there, I catch things that aren't quite right. It's very it's easy to make a mistake when you make changes and you're adding things. And I've been adding and changing things to this calculator for months now, and a lot of it's based on the information that I get from the seller, because one seller might have expenses where another seller may not. So just adding that field in there in that cell so that you have that option just makes it easier to go through the process. So I'm going to leave this at 7%. He could get a 6% rate. I don't know. He might end up with 8. It goes all the way up to 11 because in case you get a fix and flip loan, but you're going to fix and hold the property, then you'll have a higher rate until you're able to refinance into a regular DSCR long-term hold loan. So as a 30% amortization and 99,484 will be his monthly payments. This will be his yearly payments, annual payments. Our Morby method fee for bringing the down payment and the other expenses, such as the closing costs and the other things, right? Shoot, sorry. Allergies are affecting my throat. So this fee, okay, is everything that we are bringing, all the funds that we are bringing in these cells, multiplied by 0.025. That's 2.5%. That's our fee for that funds. This is the fee for our top tier, your TC and attorney, second closing, and all that. Down here, we'll show also, if you're borrowing less than $100,000, there's a little thing here that says if the seller carryback is less than 100, then there's a flat fee of $2,500. If it's over 100,000, then it's multiplied by 0.25%. So if it's less than $100,000, I don't have that calculated in here automatically to put 2,500 in, but I can fix that and change that. I don't see anybody borrowing less than 100,000, but I should change that and add that in there so it's an option. So I may do that. And then down here shows the distribution. I also want to separate this as our calculator box as well. But anyways, here's the distribution to the seller payout. This is what the mortgage will be. The mortgage. This will be what the total loan amount will be, which will be your mortgage, the buyer. And then from this, the seller will carry $393,278, and then their distribution check will be $485. So it's this. That's the loan. Take the seller carry back. That's his distribution. This is what he's going to carry for you. This is the money that we bring. This also includes our fees. Because if you look here, Click on that. It says box G28. That's this. This is your private money investor calculator, but we're not going to go in here, just this part. And you'll see everything that was added up that we are carrying and bringing to the closing, plus our fees. And there's our fee, and then there's the remaining top tier 2 remaining balance on the back end, the closing costs, the down payment, the closing costs, wholesaler fee if there is one, agent fee if there is one, and that's where that comes from. So, okay, so we're going to skip all of this right now. We're going to scroll back up the top and add in our revenue. So, this box, I have multiple monthly boxes here for rental revenue. This is, and I can add more units in here if need be. It started out with 6, and now it's grown to 16, just from running numbers on different units, different multifamilies that this particular buyer has brought to me. I underwrote many multifamilies, and none of them cash flowed except one. But we had to make a really low offer of what he was wanting, and that offer did not get accepted. However, this one's way closer in numbers and can actually work, and I think they're actually going to take an offer, hopefully today or tomorrow. But anyways, this is for, say, if you had many units and they were all different rental rates. Like one we were working on a couple weeks ago, one was had $1,000. The next unit was $1,050. One was $1,100. One was $13. One was $1,395. So it's just all these different numbers. And if you get that broke down monthly, you can put that in there. Again, I'm just going to remind you that sometimes because you don't know what kind of information you're going to get from the seller. So it could be, this is what I made the entire year. This is what my expenses. And then you got to get out your calculator and you're going to have to divide that up by 12, throw this in here and try to get a guesstimation of what you're going to make if they don't give you a breakdown. But for this particular unit, it's short-term rental, although I'm not going to use the short-term rental calculator. This was put in here basically for if you was to get a short-term rental that you're trying to purchase and they had really poor revenue numbers because either it was mismanaged or maybe they're using it themselves and they barely rent it out. Or maybe you're buying a property that was never a short-term rental, but you want to make it a short-term rental. Then you could go on like ADR. I'm sorry. You can go on AirDNA and you can get, you can put the address in there and it will give you the average daily rate and what the occupation, this is for the occupancy rate. And it'll show you, what kind of occupancy rate you're going to have in that area. And it'll give you a ballpark figure of what that property is capable of making. And then those numbers you have to go off of, and that's what the lenders use as well. However, and then this is for single family home. You could use this for a single family home. However, I'm just going to say that because the calculator is all tied together, it will produce multifamily ARV value, and it will also produce an NOI. But you really need the single family home. You're going to have to run comps and get that single family home ARV because you're not basing it off of the NOI. You're going to be basing it off of the ARV and the rental revenue that it can make. So for this particular property, I'm going to use the monthly income for multifamily rentals because it is, this is a short-term rental that is rented monthly. So it does have a fixed income every month. the same amount every month, and it's rented 100% of the time, which he got really lucky on that. So you have this constant flow of $21,000 a month, and it will get put over here. Monthly income from multifamily, the same. That's right here. And it goes up here. If you're going to put single family, then it will show up over here. If you're going to use this short monthly income short-term rental, it'll show up here. And then if you're going to use this monthly income from different multifamily units, then it will show up in this top line here. So then next we move over to the monthly expense report. And for this, we show a transient tax of $1,760 a month. There is no HOA. He is going to be the property manager himself. So you could, I put 20%. Usually your 10 to 20% is going to be for short-term rentals. I've seen as high as 10 for long-term rentals, but that's kind of unusual. But that could vary because like 10% could be like, maybe they're handling all the front end and you're going to do all the back end. Otherwise, typically it would probably be anywhere from, for long-term rental, it's going to probably be 5 to 8%. So if you put in 5, that'd be $1,000 a month. But he's going to do it himself, so we're going to leave that at 0. Other, I just put other in there because, like I said, you never know. Every time I get a monthly expense report, somebody's got an extra expense that somebody else isn't paying for. So I can always add things and in here, just copy paste or cut, whatever. Put that up there and add, just make this grow bigger. Pest control, he didn't really have one, but I'm going to put 50 in there, but it probably should be 100. Utilities was $395 a month. Internet was $200 a month. The insurance was automatically calculated from the annual insurance that you put in over here. It calculated over here. The cleaning fees, he will not have a cleaning fee. Him and his partner are going to do them himself. There's nothing in household supplies. Property tax was $160 a month. However, that'll probably go up once he buys this place. It always does. Landscape, licensing fee. Okay, usually that's about $120 a year, so I'm going to put in 10. Maintenance, I'm going to leave that at 0, although he will have maintenance, and that will come out of his CapEx report. Landscape was $320. Supplies, he's going to have to buy supplies if he's going to be cleaning. So let's say his supplies are going to be $100 a month. Or do I have cleaning supplies? I do. Okay, let's go back to cleaning supplies. I'm going to add 100 in there since he's doing it himself. Now supplies, I don't know. It could be office supplies, CapEx repairs, office supplies. I have other supplies. I don't, like I said, people have supplies. So I've had to add those in there based on whatever they are paying for. If we're trying to run off of their numbers, that's for the pool. There is no pool at this property, so but it's there. If you buy a property and you have a pool, there's expenses for that. So there's the transient tax. There's the landscape. Going down, you'll see the cleaning fees were added in, which, he doesn't even know about that. But like I said, it's $2,400, $1,200 a year. He's got plenty of cash flow to cover that. Property tax, CapEx repair. Okay, CapEx is the money that you want to set aside every month to pay for damages to the property or when things break. Typically for your short-term rentals, and properties that you lease option, like if you're to buy it and then sell it, like to a lease option, you would put in 5%. So 0.5. Okay. But I like to leave it. Yeah, that'd probably work. I'm going to leave it like that because this is a short-term rental. He will have insurance through Airbnb. So when people come to stay at your property and things get broke, you have insurance through there also that helps pay for things like that. This mainly will be for, air conditioner needs worked on. It has been fully re-updated, so this will cover for anything that needs fixed, clogged toilets. Um, you know, you need to have an electrician come over there and fix something. Maybe a fan quit working. What have you? Okay, so that's what this is for. Now, if for capex, if you are going to do long-term rental, then I would put in 20%. Okay, because let's face it, you know, sometimes you might get a, a renter that's not very happy with you. So I'm going to leave it like that. CapEx. Oops, wait a minute. It's 5005. There you go. So it shows his CapEx is 11%. And how do you get like CapEx? CapEx is 34. It's going to be your NOI divided by the purchase price. That's how you get your CapEx. So here what you see is you have cash flow of $8,400 a month and $100,000 a year. Now, we've already made an offer, and then the seller came back with a counteroffer, and then we made another counteroffer yesterday, I believe, or no, it was Monday. So now we're waiting on proof of funds and pre-approval letter, and then we'll have an answer probably by the end of the day or tomorrow if they accept the offer. But that's what they're asking for now, so it sounds like they're going to accept the offer. On the first offer, I think it was 3%. Yes, it was 3% is what I offered with a 7-year balloon, which actually this balloon doesn't do anything. It just shows there's a balloon. Down here's the appreciation value. That does calculate something. Okay, so the 3% with 7-year, they did not take. They came back with 6.5. And 5 years would not work. And also, okay, for appreciation value, I just added this calculator last week, which actually I'm going to add another calculator down here, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I added this last week to refinance calculator because you got to pay off your seller, your private money lender partner, right? You got to pay them out. They want out of the deal eventually. So I left it at 7. They wanted 6. Okay, appreciation value. So I looked up the address for the appreciation value in this area. Typically, your appreciation value in most markets are 3 to 5%. This one is at 7, which okay, that's great. So I only put it in 6 just to be on the safe side, right? But so if you see, let me go back and show you. Well, let me just go back. So if you put in 2%, you see your appreciation value is only 1.9, but if I give it 6, now it's 2.1. Okay, but in 3 years of depreciation or appreciation, you're still it's not enough time to pay out your money, private money lender. So they wanted 5 years. So I'm going to go to 5. See, we're still in the negative. So I looked at six. Six works, but I stayed at seven. Okay. I stayed at seven so that when he refinances, he'll have 490,000 in equity, 499,000. His private money lender payout is 393. He is paying 3% interest only. So he'll still owe 393 in 7 years. Okay. When he refinances, he'll have $105,000 cash to close. He'll have cash at closing if he takes that money out. Now, if he takes that money out and wants to reinvest it in something else, that's why I'm going to make a calculator down here, okay, that will show projections of what his new monthly payment will be, and then what the projections will be for the cash flow coming in if if he still has enough funds here to cover that. And he should. But I would like to put that calculator in here just to see. That needs to be added on there because that's the whole point, that you do want to refinance and you do want to pay off your private money lender. But when you refinance, now you're going to have a higher mortgage payment. So will you still have enough funds left over, enough revenue coming in to pay for that? So it'd be interesting to put that calculator in down there. I think that will be the final step for this calculator. Yeah, that definitely needs to be added. That way you'll know now that what you do now, you'll be okay 7 years down the road or 10 or however long you have that balloon, right? Prefer no balloon, but whatever it takes. So, okay, so we already went through that. So, okay, and initial entry, I wanted to look at this. What is that? I'm curious. I know I'm sidetracking here. Sorry. Okay. You see something? Because I made changes. I caught another mistake, I think. Wait a minute. Because I'm seeing B14. See it? Okay. Yep. Because see, like I said, I keep adding cells and changing. I'm glad I caught that. Okay. Initial entry fee. That's not true. Initial entry fee be this. Going to be the EMD. And it's also going to be this. And can I change it to a yellow? Like a pale yellow. That'll work. Because anything in yellow, this is the same number as that. Total entry fee, out of pocket, same thing. This is what you have to have as the buyer. The 29,700, and then you have to have that in reserves. This is 3 months. You can change this if you want it to be 6 months holding, but most lenders want to see at least 3 minimum. So now we're going to come over here to the final say of the project here. And here you will see your total cash outlay, which is all the funds that it took to get into this project. Your net cash flow, which is 90,000. Cash on cash return, 21%. That's really good. And then your break-even point is 5 years. And this is what the DSCR lender looks at. Needs to be 1.4. So you have the NOI, the first mortgage, the seller carry. There is no other debt That's just extra in case there's one, and it would probably be, let's see. Yeah, it would go right here. So I'm going to type in other debt, if any, because sometimes there might be three loans. You just never know. And we'll make that bold as well. Okay. So your total debt is 125. Your debt service is 125,607. And then this is your ratio. This will tell you, right? Take the NOI and you divide it by the debt service and both debt services, which will be the loan and the seller carryback. And that gives you the 1.72 ratio. And this will change colors. It'll either be a green, yellow, or pinkish red. It was supposed to be red, but that's the best I could get. But green is a go. So anything above 1.4, there's a big cushion there, and the lender will be happy to lend for you because they know that the revenue is there to take care of the bills. If it's in yellow, they still may lend, but they're going to be caution about it. If it's between 1.5 and 1.39, and then obviously if it's 1.25 or less in the red, it's not going to, uh, it'll probably be declined. But so this is what you want to see. You want to see this pretty green right here. That right there, I'm going to highlight, I'm going to make that bold as well. That's what you want to see. That 1.72, 1.72. You want to see above 1.4. And this is a good deal. I hope he gets it. We've been working together since June. So 3 months. I've underwrote, this is probably the 8th deal. The first 7 were just didn't work out. This is the first one I've seen where the actual seller is reasonable on his. Yeah. This isn't quite right. Okay, so yes, you see you can ignore this because you can just ignore this negative 118 because, like I said, I've got the single family tied in with this. I may at some point add another one and put the single family separate off of this so that it will not create this confusion. But for now, I'm going to take this out and leave that at that. All right. That's what I'm going to do. So eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the single family out and probably put it on a separate sheet. And then I'm going to add down here when you refinance and what that new loan looks like and what that new mortgage payment is based on the revenue that you'll have coming in 7 years from now. So this will be a pro forma, basically. It'll be a pro forma down here, which is going to be good because you're going to need that. Because, yeah, if you can't refinance and pay the next, then you're probably not going to do any good, and you're going to have to find another private money lender to pay off the first private money lender, and I'd rather not do that. But, anyways, this is how you use it, and if you have any problems with it, just let me know and reach out to me, and I'm here to help at any time. Thanks.